Yeah, man. I haven't seen this movie in forever.
Well, I got my issues with it too.
I was watching it this morning. I'm like, yo, I forgot all this shit happened in the movie.
But
You know what
did
I'm
you see
saying?
this?
Like,
Did you
I was
even
like,
see the
yo,
sequels?
it's not bad, but I have some issues with the movie though.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, there's some shit that they could have did differently.
Did you see the sequels?
Nah, I didn't see I didn't. I forgot they made the sequels. I was like reading some stuff, and I
Yeah.
forgot they made like they did like 4 sequels for this.
So the second one was pretty. It was solid. It kind of picked up, so to
Right,
speak, where this one left off. But
right.
the last two, it just took a different turn. Like I'm like, this has not. What does this got to do with? Yeah, yeah.
Yo, I
And
totally forgot. I know I kept seeing the remakes. I'm like, why they keep remaking this film? I'm like, it's not even to me one of the best films to remake like 2 3 times already.
exactly,
And
exactly. I
Black
agree.
Christmas, that's another one they keep remaking. I'm like, why are they keep making remaking Black Christmas?
Why and for
You know what
what?
I mean?
Why? I
It's
agree.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
me
I
neither.
forgot they had the sequels. I'm gonna try to see if it's on streaming. Maybe I'll check out part two.
Yeah, part two is laughable too.
Oh God, that's not a good thing. Then they made
Man.
four. They made 4 sequels. That's crazy.
They sure did.
So it had to have been making some money for them to even make a sequel to it.
For real. I mean,
You know what I mean?
the first one looked for a minute. I thought it was like a Italian film. For a minute, it had that Italian film vibe to it.
Right. Facts.
But it wasn't. But I mean, the last two sequels to me didn't. I'm like, what has this got to do with anything?
So I gotta check it out then.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. I think I watched part of the third one. It was kind of boring, so I just turned it off.
Yeah, that's wild, yo.
Yeah,
And to think that this movie was they had to like cut it up because it was like too graphic, you
right.
know. I'm like, wow, that's wild right there.
Yeah, I know this movie sparked a lot of controversy with like critics and with I think Entertainment Tonight at that time was talking
Mhm.
about this movie
Right.
and stuff. I'm like, well, graphic. I mean, look at what is that? What's RoboCop? That was like how graphic could it get?
Right.
Look at movies like RoboCop and hell, even Sleepaway Camp. The sequels of Sleepaway Camp.
I remember watching that, and I remember, and that has like a cult following. I remember watching it a couple years ago and not liking it. I'm like, yo, like, what's the hype with Sleepaway Camp? I didn't. It was okay, you know. But classic, I don't think it's a classic for me. You know what I'm saying? It's not something I would go back and watch. But some of those films, you got to question. I'm like, yo, like just because it got a cult following, don't mean it was a great film.
Right, and I will say this though, yeah, I liked the I liked the premise of it, and the turn at the end of the movie. I'm like,
Mm,
what the hell?
right,
And it's something that I guess has not been done before. So the ending, I think, caught everybody off guard.
right.
But the sequel, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of the few people that actually like the sequels. I like them because it's comedy and
Mm,
it was a fun comedy. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But the first one, it was good, but Could I say it was a classic? It's not on that level of Halloween, or it's not on that level of, not even on the level of Exorcist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, a lot of people who like movies like that, I guess, they say, "Oh, it's a classic," but
Mm.
I wouldn't call it.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I watched. Maybe it's because like they're old. Some of those movies they seem like outdated now when I watch them.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
I'm like this got all this hoopla and they have to cut up the film. I'm like this is mild compared to the shit that's out now.
Oh, exactly. It
You know what I mean?
is.
You watch if you watch Terrifier, they doing some shit in that film that they wouldn't do back in the 80s. Like if they had did that, a lot of these films wouldn't even came out back then. So I'm like, yeah, I know it was the 80s but yeah, we've come a long way since some of those films and I don't get it, but
I
you know,
mean, look at Taxi Driver. That was as violent as it could get. You get a guy
right.
get multiple holes in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Why cut it down? It's a horror film for a reason.
Right.
You know.
Well, let's start the review. We're doing it's a Danny Rap podcast with me, Triborough, and Mike. Mike's Movie Corner and more. Go follow his YouTube channel.
Yo,
We're
yo.
doing a horror Christmas review today. The original 1984 Silent Night, Deadly Night. I actually have it on Blu-ray.
Oh,
I got this a
nice.
couple years ago. Shout out to my who sent me this. I think it was Tony with Nine Fingers. Shout out to him. And I got this version has the unrated version and the theatrical version. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And it's definitely I love the extras on it. It's got a couple extra special features and you know, this is from TriStar Pictures. It came out November 9th, 1984. Directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., starring Robert Brian Wilson. He plays Billy. You got Tony Nero, Gilman McCormick, and Lillian Charvin. Hope I'm saying that their names right. And basically, this movie is about, you got Billy and his little brother Ricky. Ricky's a newborn at that time, and Billy and his brother and his parents are going to see his grandfather was in the hospital, and this is during Christmas, and he goes to see his grandfather, and I'm thinking like when he goes to see his grandfather, like his grandfather's like like a vegetable. He's like in a catatonic state or whatever, but he was fooling them the whole time. And he goes to see his grandfather, his mom and father. They go off, and the grandfather, wakes up out of he was playing possum the whole time, and he snaps out of it. And he talks to Billy, and he's telling Billy, have you been naughty or nice? Have you been have you been a good boy? And you better be afraid of Santa Claus, and really freaking him out. And Billy was already freaked out just by what grandfather was telling him, and then when the parents walk back in the room, he goes back to being a vegetable or whatever. They jump in the car to go home, and Billy's telling his parents that grandpa told me that Santa Claus is something about Santa Claus. You better be afraid of Santa Claus. And while they're driving home, right, we have that's going on, and at a quickie mart, we have you have a guy dressed up as Santa Claus who robs the place, and he shoots the store clerk and kills him. And while then he leaves and he escapes. While they're going home on the road, they stop for a guy dressed up as Santa Claus. It's the very same guy that robbed the quickie mart and shot the store clerk. And they stop to help him with his car, and he ends up killing. He ends up killing Billy's parents, shooting his father, and raping his mom and ends up slicing her throat. And Billy sees all of this. His newborn brother Ricky's in the car crying, and when Billy sees all of this, like he remembers it. So there's like a lasting vision that's etched in his head for life, and he'll have those visions throughout his whole childhood and adulthood, and that's basically how the movie starts off. And we jump to a couple years when I think it was like 74, and we jump to 74 when Billy ended up being a foster kid. He was at St. Mary's Orphanage, and he had a Mother Superior who was a real bitch in this film. I really didn't like her.
I didn't either.
But he had Mother Superior and Sister Margaret, and Billy a little bit older, a couple years old. I'd say he was like maybe 10, 11 years old, and he's really struggling to be himself at the the orphanage, and he's getting into trouble. He's the sister, Mother Superior realizes that he's really aggressive, and she's talking to Sister Margaret about him, and Sister Margaret is being really patient with him because she understands what he went through as a kid and seeing both his parents get killed in front of him. His younger brother Ricky is also there as well, and Billy had a tough time. He was getting into trouble in class. He got whippings from Mother Superior. There's a scene in the film where he was walking around the orphanage, and he's eavesdropping on one of the nuns getting it on with a guy, and they're doing it, and he's looking through the peephole at them, and Mother Superior catches him and ends up giving him a whipping for that, and you're just gonna get into a lot of trouble. And they fast forward again to like when he's like I want to say he's like a teenager now. He's like much older, and he's again Sister Margaret is with him by his side and really helping him through his the tough time that he's going through, and he's having visions. He's waking up in cold sweats about his parents getting murdered. So this is like a long lasting effect that carries through this whole movie. It's like a whole theme for him throughout this movie. And he gets a job at Ira's toy store, and Sister Margaret really was the one that helped him get the job at the toy store. And she's talking to Mr. Sims, who was the owner of the store, and Mr. Sims, he was really reluctant on giving him a job, but one thing, once he saw him, he was like, okay, he can help out around the store and sweep up and stock shelves and all that. So he gets the job at Ira's toy store, and he's still going through having the bad dreams and the visions of his parents getting murdered, and he has some. So you have some characters there. You have I forgot shorty name. There was a female that worked there as well that he was dealing with, and he was trying. He had a hard time fitting in, but I think Sister Margaret was like really like the one to help him through his tough time or whatever. And what did you think? What did you think when you first saw the film though?
When I first saw the film, I knew I was going to go into expectation. It was going to be a cheesy 1984 holiday film. And, I'm watching this film. Now, mind you, I saw this movie maybe a couple years ago. And I went into the film, I knew it was going to be like one of those Santa Claus slasher. I knew it was going to be a slasher. I knew it was going to be like a Santa Claus like type film. I'm gonna go to the beginning for a second. This is one scene that this was first off, how does Santa Claus in a scene where um the little boy he sits on Santa's lap and like this is the time where Mother Superior forced him to sit on Santa's lap and then he punches Santa Claus. First off, no kid has that power to punch a guy like that down. First off,
Right.
I thought that was I'm like really, and then he bleeds. He was bleeding. Okay,
Mhm.
and that part I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, oh, so they making this boy have superpowers, right?
Right.
So um the actress who played Mother Superior to me was no one noted performance. One expression. That's pretty much it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And she has this skull look on her face that she hasn't gotten dick with in the past several
That was
years.
Lillian Chauvin. Chauvin.
Yeah, that was one. That was a one noted performance from her. She looked like she haven't gotten sex in like over 10 years. So I
She
mean,
was just a
and
mean old lady, and it
she
was like
was.
you know what's crazy? The way that
Yeah,
she acted was
yeah,
how I felt about Child's Play in Child's Play 2 when Andy has his foster parents,
yeah,
and the dad was such an asshole to him in
yep,
that film.
yep.
And I was glad, like even when we reviewed that for Halloween, I said in that review, I'm like, yo, I was glad the foster dad got killed because
I was
he
too.
just treated Andy like shit, and it was really the foster mother that really she really cared about Andy, and
She
that's how I
did.
felt with this film. Like Mother Superior
Yeah.
really didn't give a damn about Billy,
No.
and she was
No.
like she wanted him to fall in line like the other kids,
Right.
but Sister Margaret really took him under her wing and really cared
Yeah.
about him and made sure he got the job at the
Exactly.
toy store. And she looked
Exactly.
out for him even when he was going nuts and he was going around killing people. Like she was
Yeah.
with the cops, like trying to like telling the cops like, yo, like it's him, but you
Yeah.
have to understand that he went through a lot as a kid. He saw both his parents get murdered in front of him,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
he's not in his right state of mind. So she really cared about him,
She
even when he
did.
went psycho and started killing people for no reason.
Yeah. And as a kid, you see both of your parents die. Like that, you have PTSD from that. You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna forget because that's both of your parents. That's like both.
Right.
No,
And so Billy is at the working at the toy store, and
yeah.
you got other people that work there, Andy, and you got
Wow.
Pamela. And he had a thing for Pamela, but even though he was very quiet when he was working at the store, but you could tell that he had a thing for Pamela. He even had a dream about sleeping with her, and in that same dream that he's sleeping with her, he ends up getting attacked by the same Santa that killed his parents. He woke up in cold sweats, and he's saying, "But I was good," and that goes back to when he was a kid and talking to his grandfather, and his grandfather telling him, if you're not a good boy, Santa's not gonna come for you or whatever. And you know, Andy working with Andy realized that like he has an attitude problem. He talks
Yeah.
back to people. Andy didn't really care for him,
Right.
and I think like things really took a turn, and that's when the movie really starts to get interesting. When they
Yeah.
had the toy store, they threw a Christmas party,
Yeah.
and you had Helen who worked there. She was like an older lady. You had Mr. Sims at the store owner. They got drunk. You have Andy and Pamela. They go to like the back of the stock room. They messing around. Billy is dressed up in this Santa Claus outfit for the kids. There was a scene where he was playing Santa Claus, and he had like the kids sitting on his lap, and one of the little girls I don't think she really vibed with him like that, and you know, and being that, you know, he was her age and went through what he went through, you know, I think he would you could tell like it bothered him, you know what I'm saying? And you know, after the party's over, everybody's getting drunk. So Pamela and Andy, they in the back and they messing around, but it's like Andy was moving too a little bit too fast. And I don't think Pamela liked that, and then he started like assaulting her.
Yeah.
And Billy is seeing all this happen, and he's like going again, having the visions of his seeing his mom get sexually assaulted by the Santa crook that you
Right.
know, robbed the Quickie Mart store and then shot the owner, and then shot his dad in front of him and his little brother. So he's going back to that vision of seeing his mom get assaulted and then killed. So he just snaps, and he ends up killing Andy with some Christmas lights, ends up strangling him and in front of Pamela. Pamela's seen this and she's like half naked already. She's seen all this go down, and he's thinking that he's helping her out when in actuality Pamela is, you know, calling him crazy and he's psychotic, and he doesn't like that, and he ends up, you know, killing Pamela and stabbing her to death, and you know, Mr. Sims and Helen, even though they drunk, Mr. Sims heard like some noises in the back, so now he's skeptical about like what's going on, and he's telling Helen like, I heard a noise in the back, let me go check it out. So he goes to the back and he's checking it out, and Pure Pessimist said something like car should never be in charge of children. What does that mean? I don't understand the comment. Something like car should never be in charge of children. But you mean something like Billy? You mean Billy should never be in charge of children? I don't understand the comment though. But Mr. Sims goes to the back, and because he heard some noises, and then he ends up killing. Billy ends up killing Mr. Sims' store owner.
I think he was talking about Mother Superior. Somebody like her should never
Mother
be in
Superior.
charge.
Okay. Yeah, she was a real bitch. Like I really hated her character, and I wanted her to die so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I really wanted her to get axed by Billy, and you know what I'm saying. But we'll get to that part. So Mr. Sims, the store owner, dies. You know, Billy already killed 3 people. He killed Andy. He killed Pamela, who he actually had a thing for, and he killed the store owner. Helen, she's the last one left. She goes to the back and she gets killed. You know, and then it's like he just snapped. After that, he just snapped. He went off to another house. Now this part I didn't understand. Like I could understand if you want revenge on the person that killed your parents and Mother Superior. You know, the part I didn't understand was after he killed Mr. Sims, he killed Helen, he killed Andy, and he killed Pamela. Why did he goes up to another house, and you know, you have this girl. Now the girl that plays Denise in the film, she was also in another horror film. I believe it was not Hell House. Was it Hell House? It was another film that she was another horror film that she was in, that she was famous for. And I remember seeing the way that she got killed in this scene. I remember seeing like the making of it. And so Billy goes to this other house. Denise, the half naked woman, we're gonna call her Denise, she was making out on her pool table with this other guy, and they ready to get it on. Her sister comes downstairs. Her little sister comes downstairs, and you know, she's telling her sister, you know, if you don't go to bed, Santa's not gonna come and give you your presents or whatever. So the sister goes to bed. She's still making out with the guy. She takes her top off or whatever. So she's half naked at this point, and then she hears some noises upstairs, because they were downstairs on the pool table. Upstairs, she hears noises. She told the guy that she has to let her cat in, because she had like a little cat that had went out. She heard the cat meowing and she wanted to let the cat in. So she goes upstairs and outside to let the cat in. And then right when she closes the door, Billy, she sees Billy with an axe and he crashes through the door, ends up killing her. And he actually like impaled her on like, she had like some deer antlers on her wall and he impaled her on that.
Yeah.
That's the part that I seen where they did like the making of that scene. And because like she had to actually be like half naked, but they had to like put like makeup on her chest and they the way that they shot the scene, they were talking about how they shot the scene, but I forgot her name, but I know she was in another horror film, and I know I screwed up the it's not Hell House, it's another film that she was in that I saw like way back in the 80s, and they made like sequels for that. And she was like one of the characters in that film, but she's also in this film. And so that, and then he kills the boyfriend, but I didn't understand what was the connection with them and Billy. I'm like, because unless he just felt like killing other people, but I could understand why he went after the other people that he went to kill, but why Denise and the boyfriend? Because to me, they didn't really have a connection with them like that. So
I feel
didn't
like they did
understand
it
why
for
he went
shock
after them.
value.
And he didn't kill the little girl. Like he didn't kill the little girl. He let her live, and then he ended up leaving the house. And all this time, when all this is going on, you got the Sister Margaret. I guess they heard on the news that there was like a Santa Claus that had killed some people at the toy store. Yeah, Sister Margaret with the cops looking out for Billy, and they couldn't find him. And what do you think about that scene where he kills Denise and her boyfriend?
I feel like they did it for shock value.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Because there was really no connection.
I didn't understand that part. I'm like, they don't really have a connection to Billy. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's something I missed, they didn't have a connection to Billy. So I'm like, why did he go out of his way to go to that house and kill Denise and the boyfriend? And then he spared her little sister.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So that part I didn't understand. Reg, what up? Salute.
What's good, Reg?
So then Sister Margaret is there's a scene where Sister Margaret is at the police station. She's talking to the cops and she's trying to let the cops know, like, she thinks it's him. He's been missing, like he slaughtered everybody at Ira's toy store. And the cops are on the lookout for him. They can't find him. They found another guy in the Santa Claus outfit, but it wasn't him. And she's telling the cops like he's been through a lot in his life, and he needs help, and that's why she was there to help the cops find him and get him the help that he needs. And there was a scene where there was a Santa Claus that came to the orphanage to see the kids.
Right.
But they thought it was Billy. The cops was actually there, and the cops the cop actually shoots the Santa Claus thinking it was Billy, and it wasn't Billy. Because when the cop pulled out his gun, he told him to freeze, and the guy that played that was in the Santa outfit, he didn't hear him because he was deaf. We found out later. The cop actually shot Father O'Brien, who was like part of the church, part of the orphanage,
right.
And he was deaf, which is what Mother Superior had told the cops. So that's why he never turned around for the cop, because he was actually deaf and he couldn't hear him, and he mistakenly got killed. So they thinking it was Billy, it wasn't him. But Billy actually does come back to the orphanage, and he has an axe with him. There's a snowman outside of the orphanage, and he totally destroys the snowman. He makes his way in the orphanage, ready to kill Mother Superior, because at that point, Sister Margaret already knew that that's what she was telling the cops, that they were trying to figure out his next move. And she was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna go back to the orphanage and he's gonna kill Mother Superior." So he went back to Mother Superior to the orphanage to kill Mother Superior because she was such a bitch to him when he was younger. and just when he was ready to kill her, and he's like raising his axe to kill her, he gets the cops made their way to the orphanage in time and ends up shooting him in the back. And then he falls down and dies in front of his younger brother, Ricky. So Ricky sees all of this.
Mhm.
And he ends up having, it's almost like once Billy died in front of his younger brother, it's almost like the evil that was in Billy went to Ricky, and Ricky has like a evil stare at Mother Superior, right? And and I totally agree, Pure Pessimist, that I wanted her dead because she was very, I don't want to say evil. She didn't know how to handle him. Like he wasn't he wasn't like the other kids there. Like him and his younger brother Ricky, even though Ricky don't remember what happened, but he was a newborn and he was in the car when his father got shot. But
Right.
Billy saw everything. So Mother Superior really didn't know how to deal with him because he was acting out, but he was acting out for a reason because of what he saw. So it affected him mentally, which is why he was having all the bad dreams and the visions, and he went nuts. You know what I'm saying? And that's what led to his little killing spree. You know what I'm saying? But just when it seemed like once Billy died in front of his younger brother, like the evil that was in Billy went to Ricky, and Ricky looks at Mother Superior with an evil stare and says naughty. He's like naughty, you know what I'm saying? And that was the end of the film.
Yeah.
But I really felt like they needed another cut of this film where like an alternate ending where we see Billy actually, chops off the Mother Superior's head. And then
Right.
maybe he gets killed after, but at least he accomplished what he set out to do.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? But we didn't get that. And that in a nutshell, that was like the whole film. It was just like different stages of Billy's life after seeing his parents get murdered,
Mhm.
and seeing him not being able to deal with that in a good way. And he went on this little killing spree and went back to the orphanage to kill Mother Superior because she treated him so bad when he was younger. And that was the whole film in a nutshell. So, I mean, what did you think about that final scene, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with y'all. He should have they should have him kill Mother Superior. And if y'all want to kill him off at the end, at least he accomplished that. But I feel like it shouldn't have been like sequels and stuff. You're gonna make sequels, at least make it make a little bit more sense. But I would say this, like the first two sequels made sense, but the last two, no. Uh-uh. The yeah, like I I wished that we would have got a cut where he kills our Mother Superior
Right.
and stuff like that, but we didn't get that. Instead, he gets shot, and then his brother looking on, and pretty much the evil. He got his brother's evil at this point. So now that was pretty much open for part two of this movie, which I mean, you could have done it all in one movie. Like if it were me directing or writing this film, I forgot how long the movie was. I think it was like what, an hour and 24 or hour and 30 some minutes.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 25 minutes.
I would have made it to at least an hour, probably an hour 40, or at least an hour 45 minutes, honestly. And just to get that, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, a sequel would have kind of made sense too. But I mean, I felt like the whole premise of this movie was him getting revenge on Mother Superior, which the extra killing towards the end was nothing but shock value in my honest opinion. it didn't make sense. It wasn't really connected. So to be real with you, they could have came out with a sequel. They could come out with a sequel still because now his brother
Right.
now has, you know, what this evil,
Right.
you know, thing going on. But at the same time, if I would have changed anything, I wouldn't have, you know, it wouldn't have been an hour and 20 some minutes. I would have had at least an hour 45.
Okay.
It has to be like a cut somewhere. Now, I know last year they came out with a 4K.
Mm.
I know that. I don't know if it's any director's cut or anything like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna look more into it. But it has to be a director's cut. It has to be an original ending somewhere.
I'm gonna tell you the unrated version on the Blu-ray is 85 minutes, and the theatrical version is 79 minutes.
Wow,
So
yeah,
there's a couple more minutes on the unrated version.
right.
So maybe I didn't watch. I mean, though I saw it. I watched it on streaming. I only watched it once
Yeah,
on Blu-ray, but I can't remember which version I saw a couple years ago. So maybe like the unrated version has more stuff than the theatrical version.
yeah, maybe.
I felt like it should have been. I mean, if he's gonna go on a killing spree, then it should have been more victims besides Denise and the boyfriend.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it was like everybody that he killed, there was like a link to him except for Denise and the boyfriend, and then he
it was a
spared her
connection.
little sister. So I didn't understand that part.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But the girl that played Denise, her name is Barbara Linnea Quigley. She was also in the other film I was trying to mention, Night of the Demons. That's the other film that she was in. I remember watching that film, and it was like a bunch of like high school kids that went to like some haunted house, and they ended up getting possessed, and it was like killing each other or whatever. She was in Night of the Demons. So that's the film I tried to remember. It was
you said Linnea Quigley.
Barbara Linnea Quigley.
I think.
Yeah, she like 67 now.
Oh yikes! I think she was in.
She's been in a couple of. She's she's earned her. She has like they call her like a screen queen.
Yeah,
and she's been in like Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball.
Yeah,
she's been in like I said, Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Demons, Witch Trap. But she's the one that played Denise in the film, and she had that scene with Billy he axed his way through her door. Like he literally went through her door with the axe and ended up killing her and killed the boyfriend. But I couldn't remember her name. But that's her name, Barbara Linnea Quigley.
Isn't that the same one? She was in. Isn't that the same one who's in Vice Academy?
Yeah, she does like a lot of horror conventions. That, like I said, like I saw. I think it was on YouTube. I saw the scene that they had with the scene that they filmed with her and Billy, and how they had to like mount her up on like the deer antlers or whatever.
Right.
So that was like a dope thing to see, like a behind the scenes type of thing. But this movie actually made more money than The Nightmare on Elm Street because it came out around the same time as A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
Oh,
and
wow!
It actually made more money being in less theaters than A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow,
which is crazy to me. Like it, and hold up, I had the it made like 2.5 million or something like that. It was, but it supposedly it made more money than A Nightmare on Elm Street when that came out.
That's crazy.
It made 2.5 million on a $750,000 budget.
I never thought.
And it had a lot of controversy because I remember seeing the trailer for it when I was like really little, like back in the 80s. Because this is 84. I remember seeing the trailer for this and like being like in shock that they would even have like a horror film based on Santa Claus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But Billy wasn't actually Santa Claus. He was just dressed up as Santa Claus. But
right.
At that time we were like kids and we were still into like going to see Santa Claus at the
Exactly.
department store every Christmas.
Exactly.
So it had so many. It had some cuts. They had to recut the film because the movie rating association, they deemed it got like an X rating at first, and they had to like go through many cuts to get it to like a rated R rating. And it had controversy because of the nudity and just the whole premise of Billy dressed up as Santa Claus and acts and he's going around killing people. You know what I'm saying? So it had controversy with that, but from what they saying here, like it actually made more money than Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and it was being played in less theaters. And then there was certain theaters that wasn't playing. It was playing in like selected theaters or whatever, but there were there were other cities that wasn't playing it because of the whole premise of the film. So I think that would be hard to do now, where like if you're going up against like a big movie like Nightmare on Elm Street or Jason or any one of those like big horror franchises, Halloween, and you make more money than that franchise and being played in less theaters, that's hard to do now. You know what I'm saying? So but it was I enjoyed the film. I just felt like there should have been, I wanted to see Billy, like if he was gonna do like a complete snap and just go around and kill random people, then he should have did that instead of just you killed Denise on her boyfriend and it wasn't tied to him. You know what I'm saying? So that part I didn't understand. It wasn't tied to him like that. So I thought it was a decent film. I haven't seen the sequels. I didn't know they even did 4 sequels to this.
Yeah, they did.
I know you was telling me before we went live that part 2 has his brother Ricky went crazy too.
Yeah, went crazy. Yeah,
and he started killing people. And then part 3, the brother comes back, so he didn't die in part 2.
Yeah.
So he was like in a coma in part 3, and then he ends up waking up, and it's crazy. But yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, but they have like remakes, and there's a remake for this film.
They just did a remake this year too.
Yeah, but then they had a new one that came out recently, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Have you seen it yet or no? That's crazy. Yeah, I don't really care for like remakes. Like, there's not too many, especially like the horror remakes now. Like, I don't really care for none of them. I can't remember like the last horror remake that I made. It might have been Evil Dead. The Evil Dead, what was that, like 2011, 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Evil Dead remake I actually liked. I actually thought that was better than the original one. Because I've always liked I think Evil Dead 2 was better than part 1.
Right.
But I actually like the remake for Evil Dead, but I don't like horror remakes too many. Like, I've seen like a lot of them that wasn't good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they did a remake. They did a remake of this film that came out in 2012 with Jamie King and Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, they sure did.
Malcolm McDowell, he also was in the Halloween remake, the Rob Zombie.
Yeah, he was.
And now that I like. I forgot about that. I went to see that when that came out, and I liked that one. And Malcolm McDowell played he played the cop. What's his name? The one that was after Michael Myers. I forgot his name.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Pleasance. I forgot his character name, but Michael McDowell played him in that Rob Zombie remake, and they had there's a second remake that they made. That's the one that came out recently. I haven't seen it. But what's your final grading on this film? How you grading this?
I'm gonna be real with you. I felt like they shouldn't have toned down the violence. What I was looking for in this movie, I wanted more grit and more like violence. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, if you're gonna do a move, if you don't, they try to do like a character study.
Right.
They try to do a character study of, you know, the little, you know, this boy, you know, who has PTSD because he saw his parents, you know, get killed by Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? And we see him kind of sort of throughout, you know, his childhood, and then his, you know, more like you know, teenage slash adult years. Um, to be honest with you, like if you're gonna have him, if you're gonna have it to where he goes around killing people, have him go all out. You know what I'm saying? Um, there was I did mention earlier that a couple parts was not convincing at all. One, the part where like Mother Superior whips a little boy, you know what I'm saying? That one, that was just all one noted. I wasn't convinced at all. Honestly, I wasn't convinced with that. And where the boy he punches Santa Claus, knocks him down, and makes him bleed, and it's like no boy like that. I forgot how old he was in the movie,
Right.
but no boy has that force that to knock Santa Claus down, and he's bleeding all over the bed. It has to be some sort of like evil force to where it made him do that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna have him get revenge, I would have loved it if he would have got his revenge on Mother Superior. You can kill him if you want to. You can kill him if you want to, but at the same time, like at least try to execute what you're kind of going after. Because at first I thought this was going to be one of those revenge movies.
Right.
At the same time, too, it dealt with PTSD. It dealt with that, but we didn't get much of that. Instead, the you know, boy, the he, you know, the what's his name again? Was it Ricky?
Which one you talking about?
The
Billy?
yeah, Billy, yeah, Billy. But like instead we get, you know, older Billy, you know, dressed up as Santa Claus. Well, yeah. Pretty much he gets, yeah, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted more violence. I wanted more grit. We didn't get that. To me, it kind of felt like Italian film. It did had I got Italian movie vibes off of this movie, but at the same time, it was a fun movie. Don't get me wrong, but I was expecting more, and they shouldn't have really toned down the violence like that. I don't. I mean, I guess maybe I'm hoping one day they have like they pull up like scenes that they maybe hope, who knows, maybe they have more scenes that they cut out in the film. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what the case, but if they do, I would like to see those.
All right. Now you have there was three. You had three people play Billy at different stages of his life. You had Jonathan Best, who played Billy at 5. That was the one we saw in the beginning of the film when he saw his parents get murdered. And then we had Danny Wagner played Billy at age 8. That was when he was in St. Mary.
St. Mary's,
going
yeah.
through his issues at the orphanage. And then
Right.
we had Robert Brian Wilson played Billy when he was 8. So he was 18 by the
18
time he
at
got
the point.
the job at Ira's Toy Store.
Yeah.
He went nuts. That was Robert Brian Wilson when he was younger.
I would have loved to see the 18-year-old Billy get nuts more.
Right.
I would have loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like have him go all out. But I guess they would. I felt like it was trying to play it safe, but at the same time, it wasn't. When you think about it, it wasn't as. I've seen more violent films.
Mm.
Scarface, for instance,
Yeah.
that was a much more, especially towards the end. And that movie was originally going to be an X-rated film because of the violence,
Right.
but they pushed it, to, where people want to see this movie. So it ended up being odd, but this movie, I felt like it was more tame compared to other films, well, especially films that's out now.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really see guts, coming out of people's bodies in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really see that. But I mean, it wasn't like a gross out. It was more of a slasher. It wasn't really gross. So I don't really understand why. But at the same time, it was a different period. You know what I'm saying? And I'm surprised this movie made more than Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm shocked. Very shocked. I didn't know that. It didn't, but Nightmare on Elm Street ended up being a classic.
Definitely. That's
Yeah.
still one of them. I mean, if I had to pick one, it's always gonna be the OG one. I think because
I agree.
we got very little. Freddie didn't talk much in that film. He was like just sinister. He was a slasher. Once he got popular, they gave him the funny one-liners, and he got bigger than the franchise. And he was like an MTV pop icon at that point.
And it definitely launched the careers of Johnny Depp, Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp.
Patricia Arquette was in that.
Yeah, Patricia Arquette. Yeah.
You had Lawrence Fishburne was in part
Larry Fishburne. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it really started the careers of a lot of like A-list actors now.
Yeah.
Robert Englund was already an actor on St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a show that my mom used to always watch that. So I remember him from that, and then him going into Freddy. That's like really his thing now. That's what really made him a star.
Yeah, he was also in V, the TV series and the miniseries.
Right.
Around that same year.
Right. Oh yeah, he was on V, right? He was a part of V.
He was on V.
I remember watching V, the OG one back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of folks was on there too.
Mm-hmm. But hey, this movie was cool. Like I felt like if anything, it got a lot of controversy for the nudity and the violence. But other than that, I mean, when you look back at it now, I'm like, this is real mellow compared to the shit we see now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put any Art the Clown movie up against this, I'm like, that's Art the Clown is definitely a lot more controversial than a guy walking around with an axe, dressed up as Santa Claus. So
I agree.
But I mean, again, this is the '80s. It was. I felt like it was very liberal back then. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't used to seeing a lot of different shit. So something like this come along, it's like people were in an uproar but I'm like, now it's like it's not even one of the most violent films that I've seen. So but it was good. It was good for his time. I just wanted to see more variety with Billy, and it's like if you're gonna like make him kill random people, then there should have been more victims besides killing off Denise and her boyfriend, which was totally random to me. Everybody else that he killed, there was like a link to him. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But it was decent. I'll give it like I'll give it a 7 out of 10, or 4 out of 5. I think the first one, again, the first one to me was probably the best one. I haven't even seen the sequels, and I'm already predicting like the first one's probably the best one in the franchise. Just by the way that you told me about part 2, I'm like, yo, I don't even know if I want to watch part 2 now. I'm like, because so now the younger brother Ricky goes nuts, and then he starts killing. So
now the third movie, it turned. It was different because the third one turned into more of a body horror,
right?
and this was directed by Brian Yuzma, who he did a movie called Society back in '89, which
Oh wow.
I am not. Yeah, no, that's also a body horror movie. I
Right.
would not watch that movie ever again because it's one famous scene where it's like an orgy scene and people are morphing, turning into legs and butts and all that. I'm like, oh hell no, no. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
so
So I mean, that's the movie for people that haven't watched it. If you into 80s horror, I suggest you check out the first one. If you want to watch the sequels, then I can't tell you if it's good because I haven't watched them. Mike is saying like it wasn't good, so I
yeah,
don't know if I'm gonna watch part two.
I will say I would say at least watch the first two of this movie.
Okay.
The third, the fourth. Now the fourth at the end, I did laugh at. You know what I'm saying? It involved dolls and stuff. It kind of gave me Child's Play vibes
Oh
through the
wow.
fourth one, but it to me after the second one it kind of lost its gas, to be
Right.
honest with you. So I'm gonna give you my final rating on this movie. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it
Okay.
8 out of 10 and or 4.5. Well, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Right. I heard like the other sequels after 3 that is like it's no relation to Ricky and Billy, so they just went off
It's
and
no
did something
point.
else.
They could have stopped after 2. I would have been happy with it.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Man. But definitely check this out. I got the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
For the
you're
Blu-ray
right.
comes with the unrated and theatrical version. Now you said it's on 4K, right?
The first one I know for a fact is on 4K.
Okay, but they don't have both versions. They just have one.
I believe so. I have to look more into it.
Okay. Well, I mean,
But
if you all want to check out both versions, get the Blu-ray. It does look nice on Blu-ray. The sound was decent.
yeah.
This is the only one I'll be covering. I'm not doing 2 or 3, and if people want me to do the whole series, they got to pay me for that. But this is the only one that I'm doing.
Right.
I thought it was good enough to do a review on, and I know like the new one is out, so I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about the OG one from '84. And haven't done a movie review on here in a while, so I do want to get back into doing more movie discussions for 2026. So thank you, Mike. As always, follow his channel, Mike's Movie Corner, and more. We'll definitely be doing more stuff coming up in the new year. Shout out to everybody that came through. Pure Pessimist, shout out to you and Reg. And we're definitely gonna be back this week. I want to do another stream this week before Christmas. I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but I want to do another one. And then I got some stuff coming up for the new year, so look out for that. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Tell me if you seen this movie, what you thought about it, if you like it, if it's whack. If you've seen the other films, tell me about those. And we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Peace out.